Before Jack Biddlecombe came fully awake, before he had even opened his eyes or moved at all, he knew two things. One was that he had taken a severe beating. The other was that he had reason to be enormously pleased. He could not recall, in either case, exactly why that was. As to the beating, he recognized the signs right off. His body felt stiff and cramped, and he knew, even without experimentation, that certain movements would cause considerable pain. He could feel areas of bruised flesh in the usual places, gut, jaw, the side of his head. He could taste a faint trace of coppery blood in his mouth. Tavern brawl, he thought, to the extent that he was able to formulate any coherent thought. His condition had the earmarks of a shoreside rough and tumble, one that he had lost, apparently, and lost decisively. If that was not the case, if he had won, he hated to think of the condition in which his opponent must find himself that morning. He tried to recall, but was not yet awake enough, or indeed sober enough, to bring up the details of the night's adventures. He wondered if the sheriff would be coming for him. He wondered if he was, at that moment, in a jail cell. That possibility made him even less eager to open his eyes. Jack was only 19, but he had spent years enough in the rugged world of a merchant ship's forecastle to know well the results of a beating in a tavern. He had given and taken beatings in New York, Philadelphia, and Savannah, in Nassau and Kingston and Barbados, and once even in London. It was a self-imposed exile from the civilized world ashore in which he had spent his younger years, an exile from the officers' quarters aft that many considered his birthright. It left him with skills, knowledge, and sundry scars that were foreign to the coach and four set from which he had sprung. And then he recalled the source of his pleasure, and with that he realized where he was, or at least where he should be. He gave an experimental kick with his right leg. The action caused considerable pain in his knee, but his shoe, he was still dressed to his shoes, he realized, connected with a wooden lee-board, which told him he was in the berth of the master's cabin of the 220-ton, full-rigged merchant vessel Abigail, which was his command, his first command, at 19 years of age. He tried to open his eyes, but that effort met with less success than the exploration with his foot. His left eye was sealed shut. Why, he did not know. Dried blood or excessive swelling was usually the culprit, but he had seen others. Happily, his right eye opened and seemed to function tolerably well. Just as fortunate, lying on his left side as he was, that eye was at a higher elevation and thus allowed him to see over the lee-board. He guessed it to be late morning, judging by the light coming in through the stern windows, but what really caught his attention were the stockings, reddish-brown, homespun, pulled over a set of beefy calves. The cuffs of brown breeches were buckled around the upper edge of those stockings. Jack did not recognize either stocking or cuffs, or the man who occupied the clothing, though he was seated in a chair not far beyond where Jack lay. He could, he understood, turn his head a bit and see who it was, but the effort seemed too much to contemplate. Jack Biddlecombe had difficulty controlling his impulses. It was not as if he did not understand the relationship between cause and effect, as if he could not anticipate that action A, becoming drunk and loud in a shorefront tavern, say, might lead to reaction B, a sound thrashing, and that A plus B might well equal C, which was waking in his present state.